So let's set up a new machine using PCem. So as you can see, I've already got a Tandy 1000 there, which I never actually owned in a Windows ME machine. So I'm going to begin by creating a new machine. This will be ye olden days. So this would be my old 486 class machine, I think we'll go for. So, and I'm just going to install DOS on it. We did have Windows, but mostly I did most of my gaming in DOS, to be honest. So I'm going to go through now. I'm not really sure what motherboard I used to have at the time, but luckily it's kind of marked as 486, so I know it'll be one of these. WinBIOS 486 was pretty common. So we'll try that one. Not sure if you can actually see my screen, so I'm going to try and update that. Guys, cancel that. So I don't think that's updating. So we'll swap that over to PCem, setting, and I need to set this to, if I'll just do a display capture, it'll probably be easier. And then I can swap over to this afterwards. And right, so let's cancel that one and let's get my setup going. So we're going to add a quick scene. Oh no, I've already got display capture there, so I don't need to do that. So let's just display capture. Let's try show this source. Right, so now you should be able to see what I see. So I'm going to get rid of all this, move this back here, and with any luck, yes, now you can see what I see. So that's good. I'm going to move these over here. So PLA love saying I can see your screen. Ola, what are you up to? Right, so basically I'm setting up my old computer back in the day. So let's try that again, shall we? Ye olden machine 486, which was the class of machine I used before. It's kind of the family machine, it wasn't specifically mine. Checking my phone. And right, so I was talking about what kind of machine I used to have. So, and is that updating on my screen? I think it is. Okay, so some things are showing and some things aren't. So that's very interesting. So I need to disable that one. That's why. That's where I'm going wrong. Okay. You should be able to see what I'm doing now. Sorry about that, guys. And right, so I was talking about the kind of motherboard I would have had back then. Obviously would have been in the 486 region. Though I did actually have a 286 and a 386 machine, but I was kind of too young at the time to really remember the specifications of it. It wouldn't have been a Packard Bell. I reckon it would have been an AMI. That sounds more likely a clone, to be fair. Yes, my dad was quite thrifty with money, so he wouldn't have spent full amount on it if he could avoid it. DX266 sounds very familiar. I think we either had that or the 33. I'm going to be generous and say we had the... Actually, no, we actually upgraded. So my original machine would have been in the SX series. So I would have had an SX33. Do I go that back and really emulate my oldest machine? Why not? Why not? We'll see how it is. So we'll go for the SX class processor, which is more realistic of what I would have had at the machine at the time. I wouldn't have had that much memory. I would have had 64 megabytes probably. That feels about right. So for a device, we would have had a Sound Blaster 2 mostly, but I'll go for a Sound Blaster 16. I know we did upgrade to that eventually. We need a new hard drive, so let's create a new hard drive. So we're going to call this Ye Olden Machine, and that seems reasonable. I think it's probably a bit big for what we would have had. Yes, I'm playing with PCem. I'm trying to emulate the original machine I had back in around 1994. I would have been about 14 years old. I think that's about the specs for this. It may have been 95 or 96. I know I made the leap to Celeron. No, not Celeron. IBM Cyrix. IBM Cyrix was my first machine. That was an IBM Cyrix 150 Plus. So I remember that one because I actually built that with my father. This is more what the family machine was when I was growing up in my teens. Yes, some nice retro fun. I've actually found an old CD filled with some backups. So, 94 is your year. There's a lot of us around still. We wouldn't have had a 24-speed CD-ROM. I would have been lucky to have a 4-times speedy CD-ROM, let's be fair. Though I'm not going to emulate the speed of the mechanical drive, because that would be painful. We wouldn't have had 2.88, that didn't come out till much later. We would have had 1.44, so that's probably fine. I say I've just gone for a Sound Blaster 16, mostly because I actually have a driver I can use to install it. I would, just a serial mouse would do. Networking really doesn't matter, but I put a Novell there just for laughs. I don't even know what I'd do with networking on a machine like this. Right, it wasn't CGA, right, graphics card, that was important. I know for the longest time I used to use an S3 graphics card. I believe it was a Trio34 I used to have. So this one feels very familiar. I'm going to actually have a quick look and see when the Trio64 was released. Let's just grab one of these, just need one of those. And S3 Trio, I think that was 1995 that came out. Yeah, so that was the V+. Probably a little bit more, it's probably the 32 I had, thinking about it. So we'll drop that back to the Trio32. Still got my old Windows discs in box, still in plastic wrap. Nice. Nice. Right, so I think that's probably the best guess I can have at my original machine. So we will run this one and see if my computer blows up completely. Oh yeah, I forgot it used to buzz and beep. Oh dear. Right, so let's see if I can turn on PCem. Does that capture it properly? I think it is. There we go. It's having a good think. I was born that year. Wish I was a teen back then. Well, you kind of do. On the other hand, you'd also be in your mid-40s, which isn't necessarily a good place to be. My entire thing has seized up. Yeah, it didn't like that very much. But it does seem to be behind everything. Yeah, okay, so that seems to be working. Right, so I would have had to have a CD-ROM of a disk in there. So we're going to change disk A. I can disable my screen capture now. And you should just get what I'm trying to achieve. So, right, so I need to find my DOS disks. So we need to install DOS. I do have a directory set up already. So DOS, and we need to find MS-DOS. 6.22 is kind of cheating. At this point in the career, I think I would have been on DOS 5, maybe DOS 6.0, but for compatibility, and it doesn't really make that much difference, to be honest. There was a few extra commands and things, but yeah. So right to CMOS and exit. I was never allowed in the CMOS when I was a kid. No, if my dad caught me in there, my life was not worth anything. Oh yeah, that feels like way too much memory. I think we probably would add 16 meg or something. 40 is a pain. Everything stops working and everything hurts. I'm not quite that bad at 40, but yeah, I'm certainly fatter than I used to be. So now it's saying wait. Okay. I'm waiting. No graphical... Oh, yeah, we didn't have graphical interfaces back then. Jeez, that was a luxury, that was. I didn't start looking at Actually, no, to be fair. Oh, drive D failure. Okay, that's fine. Just continue. Let's see if you boot off the... yes. So we have MS-DOS being loaded from a floppy disk. I thought I set those to 1.44 drives. Never mind. Don't know why that didn't take. I probably did it the first time, not the second time. So now we're going to go through a classic DOS procedure. And this is the easiest version of DOS. I mean, the ones where you had to format a drive, do a format/s from a boot drive to copy over the system files and all that stuff. Did that just finish already? Lols, lucky duck, I'm slowly losing body weight from health issues. 145 pounds now. I'm sorry to hear that, man. When Windows 95 was around, what version of DOS was recent? Windows 95 would have been DOS 6.22, but Windows 95 itself came with DOS 7. 7.0, if I remember correctly. You know, I don't remember the BIOS being this slow to load up, but it might well have been. We are talking a 486.33 megahertz. It's the SX, not the DX. Now, the interesting thing is the difference between the SX and DX was the floating point unit. Oh, it's not happy. It's not happy. Let's try hard reset. I might have to swap motherboards at this rate. I remember my first PC in '99 as a Packard Bell with Win98 and 32 megabytes of RAM. That sounds familiar. I used to be repairing that kind of machine. I think we all remember things running faster because we didn't know how slow everything was. or we would just get up and go make a cup of tea. Yeah. I think we'd just say, right, this is going to take a while, and just wander off and watch TV and come back a bit. Or maybe listen to the radio. It's not liking this BIOS very much. I'm going to try doing this again with a different BIOS. Because it's just not liking this motherboard. So let's edit this one. And right, you probably can't see anything now, so I'm going to disable that one. Disable, enable. Now you can see my screen. Starts PC, comes back a week later to open application. Yeah. That's about right. Award. I remember Award. Let's go for them. Still have the same processors. Yep. Oh, the DX4 100. I used to stare in Micromart, lusting after this CPU. Well, I think I was using something like a DX33. I don't think we went much above. We didn't have a 50. We might have had the 66 at one point, but we certainly didn't break into the 75 and 100. That was big money at the time. That was. I'm going to drop this down to 32 meg because that sounds probably closer. And let's see if this works any better. So now we'll disable this one and we'll bring this one up. Oh yeah, that BIOS is incredibly familiar. Yeah, this is the one I used to use. Oh yeah. Award software, yes. I spent hundreds of hours looking at this damn thing. Right, install, continue. Sure, that's correct. And continue. Ah, that's a bit healthier. Yep. Okay, so don't go for the AMI clone BIOS. I was amazed. Sorry. Oh, I've got to change floppy disk. Change disk. And it will start coming up in a moment. There we go. Next disk. Just imagine that I'm pressing the button on the drive, it's popping out, and I'm swapping it over the next one, hoping it's not corrupted. This is not the correct disk. Okay. That was disk 2, so... okay. Let's try disk 1 then. Is that what you want? Right. Startup. Disk... okay, that might have been the last disk. Change A... It's not giving numbers. Yes, it does rather, doesn't it? Let's try disk 3. Let's see if that's the one. Nope. Okay, we'll try the supplementary disk, see if that's what we're talking about. So this is where the physical disk with a label on it would help, not a random file name. Oh yeah, okay. It was the supplementary disk it wanted. That makes sense. You go from disk 1 to supplementary disk. Perfectly logical. Who wouldn't want to do that? I'm always amazed what you could do with Office back then. Yes, Office was rather capable in many ways. Right, now it wants disk 1. Okay. Did I just put disk 2 in there? I just put disk 2 in there because I wasn't thinking. Okay, read the script. This is what my father used to tell me. Read the ruddy screen. There we go. We can move that to the center now because... oh, that's a bit stretched out, isn't it? Let's unstretch that a bit. There we go. Now it wants disk 1. Has anyone noticed this completely random order you got to load your disks in? Oh, jeez. Why do you want the startup disk now? It can't make up its mind. Right, is that the disk you want? Are you happy now? Right, now you want disk 1. Why are you taking me in circles, computer? Okay, this is mildly annoying, yes. This does remind me of dealing with these machines. Right, so that is set up disk 1. So this is disk 1. Okay. Would you care to copy some files, please? Thank you. I was telling you about my family PC, Windows 95, and a bunch of generic parts. It could still run games. Yep, that was pretty much the sort of thing we had. Yeah, this is taking him back. This is the enjoyable part of it. Right, let's put in disk 2 now. Because it's not loading things into memory. It's 16 disks to install Flight Sim, yeah. Right, so you want disk 2. It hasn't actually touched disk 3 yet. So that's interesting. Oh, jeez. It's just swapping between the same disks all the time. It's obviously not loading something it needs into memory, which probably makes sense because you've only got 32 megabytes of memory, I suppose. But then it's a 1.44 megabyte disk. You could actually create a RAM disk and do all this in like 6 meg, but maybe that was incredibly amount of thing. Right, sorry, what was that? Startup disk. I've got to the supplementary disk again now. Okay, are you going to copy anything? Right, it's copying some stuff. Yep. Come on, you can do it. Oh no, we were so close. Dear. Are you saying disk 3 is common? Maybe I shouldn't be doing what it says. Can we get that last 1%? Or are you going to ask for something? You're going to ask. Now it wants disk 3. For like 1% of the installation, it needs disk 3. They just couldn't get that extra bit of data onto one of the other 2 disks. Oh. But you know, oh geez, what? I don't remember this much disk swapping, I have to admit. Hey, Decepticon, how's it going? Or Deception, sorry. Right, that was startup, so that's... I must have pulled like 2 kilobytes off the third disk. Wow. Okay, so we're 99% complete. Are you going to ask me for any more disks? Yes, you are. You just had disk 3. Why are you asking me for disk 3 again? Right, here's disk 3. Are we going to get to fit... Oh. Okay. Okay. Yep, okay, just whatever, just... Here's the supplementary disc. Yep, okay. Oh, come on. Oh, thank heavens. Oh, we got there. Oh, no. Desk is finishing setup, disk 1... Sorry. Setup is finishing, creating MS-DOS 6.22 setup disk. Insert disk 1 to A and then press enter. Okay. I hope this is being written to the hard drive. No, I'm installing DOS. Just DOS. Right, so that's setup disk 1. There we go. Here's setup disk 1. Are you happy now? Are you yes. Okay. We have a command prompt. So dir dir/w C:, there is no C drive. Okay. Disk part. No, it would be an F disk back then. No fixed disk presence. That's probably why I was having all the issues. Okay, that's fine. That's obviously a blunder I had. So I'm sure I set up a hard drive. Let's close this down. And let's have a look at the mistakes I've made with the virtual machine, which has just cost me a lot of my life. So let's have another look at these settings. If not, I will create another hard drive. Right, so we have here, so we do have ye old machine. Okay, let's get rid of that one. Let's try this again. So, ye old machine 2. Yeah, we'll leave it like that, that's fine. Right, so we're definitely creating a hard drive. Right, remember to partition it. Maybe that's why, because it wasn't accessing the hard drive, it wasn't copying the files over, and that's why it was getting itself confused. Which is interesting. You'd think it would just say hard drive not found. So everything else seems fine. Let's go through the settings one last time. Yeah, fine. Fine. Don't see any issues there. I'm going to reduce this down to 16 mega RAM. And we're going to run it. Don't you hate it when someone sees you typing in bash and they deliciously say, oh, that's like DOS? I do occasionally mix my bash commands these days with DOS, I have to admit. Number of times I've gone to CMD and typed in LS, which might actually work with new Windows, but it didn't back then. Right. Setup cannot install MS-DOS 6.22 on computer. Computer does not have a hard disk. Right, okay. So something funky is going on with this machine. Disappearing hard drives was actually a thing I've encountered before. So let's have a look in the BIOS. Trio32 looks right. Where's my Dell key? Right. Let's have a look. So standard CMOS setup. Oh, don't tell me I had to do this right. So it's definitely not finding anything. Unfortunately, it's software, so I can't double check that the IDE cable is connected properly, and I can't check that the power is in. So why is that not finding it? BIOS features, virus warning disabled. That's quite funny. Don't think there's anything here. So for some reason, this is not picking up the hard drive, despite my assigning it. Right, IDE auto detection. Maybe this is why. So it does have two options there. I'll try to remember how to do this now. Okay. So maybe it's because I didn't do the auto detect. Right, there should be no slave drive. No. That's right, I could just skip it. This is an emulator, yes. Quite a detailed one. As you can see, it's got all the original software, and it's emulating all the annoying things it had. Right. Okay, so because this... Right, now we've got a hard drive. Of course, we're back in the days where a BIOS wouldn't automatically pick up a hard drive you had to put in there. You had to actually do an IDE drive auto detect, which I haven't done in years. So, okay. That was why I was having so much trouble installing DOS. I am using PCem version 17. Oh, you know what? This feels much more like my machine. That feels like the amount of time I would have waited for memory. Yeah. Okay, setup is checking your system. Oh, that's much better. Okay, we'll probably have a much easier time now trying to install DOS. So we'll start your computer now. Make sure to have disk 1 in drive A. So change disk. Let's make sure we have disk 1. Disk 1, and then we reboot. Okay. Because now it's partitioned the disk, it will need to format the disk. Because back in the day, when you had a partition written to something, you had to reboot the whole system, and then you had to do a format. So I could trigger everyone here and go for United States, but I won't. I'm not that evil. Okay, this is a setup that's more familiar now, rather than the constantly swapping between disks you had before. I obviously didn't read the screen right the first time round, so yes, these settings are correct. And yep, that's fine. Okay. I once wrote a basic program and it used it on a much faster machine. It was unusable. Yes, because they were cycle locked back then. The more cycles in the processor you had, the faster it was. And that's one of the reasons for this PCem system. Because it actually emulates the speed of the hardware. If you come across one of those old programs that just ran out of control, you can literally emulate the processor as it was back then. I have to admit, this is making me want to go on eBay and actually buy myself an old 486 machine now. I will probably barely use it, but yeah. Virtual turbo button, yes. Right, let's read the screen. Remember the golden rule my father used to tell me, read the effing screen. I wish it was still possible to install DOS like emulators on modern PCs just for fun. You can, it's just called FreeDOS. If you want the DOS experience without any networking whatsoever and all the inability to do anything, FreeDOS is brilliant. You can also just run DOSBox, of course, but that would be an emulator. Instead of relying on a real-time clock. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did I hit enter? I thought I changed disk. I didn't hit enter. I'm talking all this time, forgetting to press enter on the keyboard. Oh, yeah. If you have a 386 or higher processor, optimize your PC by typing memmaker at the command prompt. Memmaker. I think that was a compression routine, if I remember correctly. We are officially getting the true speed of an MS-DOS machine right now. All we need is those amazing hard drive clicks and the grinding of a floppy drive. Come on. There we go. Install more RAM. No, I'm trying to recreate my old machine. I could create an amazing machine with like Celeron processors and all that kind of stuff, but no, this is a nice humble 486 SX33 machine, which means it didn't even have a built-in math coprocessor. Though I think if you showed these screens to a lot of people these days, they'll think you're some kind of hacker. HighMem.sys, indeed. HighMem.sys and EMS386 and all those other wonderful memory expansions. Remove all disks from the floppy drive. Okay, that was the installation I expected. So we just have to eject drive A. You are ejected drive A. I should have read that screen and I didn't. So we are using a Trio32 graphics card. No, I am not a hacker. I have no interest in such things. Unless you count Elite Frontier trying to hack a save file in order to change the amount of credits I have. There we go. So we have HighMem is loaded. This is the amount of RAM we have to work with. So we have 6 megabytes of RAM. We have free 778 of base memory free. Now, back in those days, you had two kinds of memory. You had extended memory and you had base memory. Didn't matter what machine you had or how much RAM you had in the machine, you would only have up to 640 kilobytes of base memory. If you had half a megabyte in your machine, you would only have 512K of base memory. So thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. And that's what we have now, is so we got reserved, used, etc. So you can see extended memory was known as XMS back then. So to clear the screen, you type in CLS, and we now have a hard drive with DOS. These are the main command files. So command.com is what loads into memory and gives you access to the DOS prompt and everything else. Config.sys, which you could alter by typing in edit config.sys. This is where you could adjust the what loads into high memory, what loads into low memory. So I believe we would go LH in front of it to load into high memory. This is from memory. I may not be doing this right. So I'm going to try saving that and rebooting and see if that frees up any base memory. So we're going to do a hard reset. And we're going to see if I've just messed up the config file. MemMaker, if I remember correctly, was a compression tool rather than actually not loading things into base memory. Okay, so that's something else I'm thinking of. It wasn't that. Smart drive cannot be loaded because of the XMS driver. HS cannot be loaded. Okay, that's fair enough. Smart drive is something we can disable. That would have taken up some base memory, so I'm just going to edit config.sys. Do we need setver? Don't think we do. How did you comment it back then? Was it a couple of slashes? Well, I'm just going to do it this way. And file save, file exit, mem. Now this may not be the best way of freeing up memory. I'm literally just doing it the way I remember it being done. Whether or not that was the best approach back at the time, I have no idea. We didn't have the internet, so we didn't get to argue in forums and things back then. We just had whatever your father told you. The @ symbol, yes, thank you. I know @ works. There we go. So we got high mem there. Right. So edit autoexec.bat. And so we've got Y keyboard there. That's fine. I'm not going to load smart drive. Echo. That's right. Path is fine. Prompt. You could actually set the color with these commands if I remember correctly. And file and save. Right, let's see if right, so this is the current mem. So we currently have free base memory 579. So let's reboot and see if I've freed up anything. Exactly, PC front mag. PC format magazine was the ultimate source of information back then. If we could afford it. What does it mean when my Wi-Fi adapter is having a driver on hardware related problems? It means you got driver problems. I'm afraid that's probably the most I can tell you. With a floppy taped to the front. Yes, yes. Magazine, floppy disk on the front, and later on CD-ROMs with just about every piece of open source software you could imagine. Not open source, sorry, shareware software that you could find. Format C. Now, if I typed in format C : / that would not work. So if I type in format C : / all, it will not recognize that. Nope, sorry. I know that wouldn't work. Right, so mem. There we go. So we've gone from 500 and something kilobytes to 607 by getting rid of Smart Drive, which was basically a memory caching tool that sped up the access of your hard drive, because obviously I'm using an SSD in a virtual environment. That doesn't really benefit me. But it does mean that I can run some games that did require 600k of base memory. The worst offender, I remember, being Elite Frontier 2. That thing needed a lot of base memory for some reason. Now I need to load the CD driver, don't I? Because this won't actually work automatically. And I have an old disk with some backups on it. And I want to see what's on there. So let's have a look. First thing I want to do is install... that's right. I wanted to install Mind Going Blank Sound Blaster. Because I've got Sound Blaster on here. So if I go into DOS and do a dir/w, does it have a CD-ROM driver here? MSC-DX, I'm pretty sure that was a CD-ROM driver. Now, would it detect it? I might actually have to go into the BIOS again. So let's see if the BIOS knows that there's a CD-ROM at play. It had options to load stuff into high mem. It did. But again, because I'm using not a mechanical drive, I don't need smart drive. I completely forgot what I was doing then. I need to reboot the machine. Right, let's try that again, shall we? Let's actually go into BIOS this time rather than talking. How do you learn this stuff? I grew up with it. I had to learn this stuff to play my video games. We didn't have phones where you just tap on an icon. We had to type all this in. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Right, so that's HDD auto detection. Was there one for? I'm going to assume that would also do. So that's fine. I'm seeing if there's a CD-ROM here. I've probably just messed up my system. No, that's fine. No, that's fine. No, so it's not finding a CD-ROM there. I've got to remember now how you actually set up a CD-ROM drive. It may have just been done through software, but I don't think so. I vaguely remember seeing one load up in BIOS, but it may not have been this BIOS because I've seen so many BIOSes over the year. They tend to merge into one, unfortunately. But I'm going to go through anyway. Nope. Don't see floppy disk. Don't see anything reserved there. It may just be that I need to load the CD drivers, and that's all I need to do. Okay, so we'll exit without saving there. We'll boot back into it, and I may do a moment of research as I try to remember how to use MSC-DEX. Because I remember there was some switches you needed. MSC-DEX usage. Yes, I remember it was in the autoexec.bat to gain access to a CD-ROM drive. Yep, that's what I wanted. So maybe it's not a BIOS thing. Maybe it just is. So edit autoexec.bat and I'll just put it at the end. I always just put it at the end. Right. MSC driver. So MSC-DEX. Come on. Actually, it would have been... Yes, it would have been... I need to type in the path, otherwise it won't work. So, DOS/MSC-DEX.exe. And then I need to remember what the switches were. Yeah, I bet you haven't seen it. Also needs to be loaded in config. Right, it probably does. Yes, there would have been a system, so it would have been a .sys driver, wouldn't it? I need to go and look for a .sys file. I'll see if I get this one sorted first. Right. I think we just need to go d /d colon driver specifies the driver signature for the first CD device driver. So it's just /d. Okay. If I remember correctly, you add a CD-ROM in the BIOS. No, I've just been in the BIOS and there's no CD there. Unless I missed it, which is entirely possible. Specifies DOS should recognize CD-ROM values enclosed. No, that's fine. Okay, I think it's just D I need. I think that's all I need. So I'm going to go with that one and see if it works. I almost right. I was also going to go into DOS and see if there's any. So dir/w star.sys. So we have display, drive space, high mem, check state RAM drive, keyboard. I'm not seeing anything there for a CD driver, so we'll see if this one works. I think you only had floppy disk and hard drive for boot. Right, no valid. Okay, so there is a device driver I need to load. So let's do some specific instruction searching because I don't remember any of this anymore. DOS 6.22 CD-ROM driver. Oh, is it actually something that doesn't come with DOS? There we go. Oh, okay. So it's looking for autoexec.bat. So I actually have to get this on here. Okay. Now, do we have Oak CD-ROM? I don't think we do. Yeah. We don't have a CD-ROM driver, so I need to go off and find one very quick. CD-ROM needs to be either master or slave in BIOS. BIOS features, price save auto. Don't think that applies to this BIOS, but I might be wrong. Right, let's get this sys file on there first. And that's what I'm trying to find now is the CD-ROM drivers. I think something is clipping in the audio. It's probably because I've got the microphone a bit too close and I'm yelling too much. Right. Okay, let's get this part done first. Let's get the right commands in there, then I'll find the right files and work out how to get them into the system. I may have to try and make a floppy image. So we'll start off by so edit config.sys and let's improve this. Let's test mem off. Then we would have had device equals oak CD-ROM.sys, and /d colon MSC D001. So that's what I should be typing in there. DOS equals hi, that's fine. We'll go files 30, we'll add some buffers. Equals 20, and last drive equals Z. So let's save that one, and let's exit. And then I do need to change those other files. So edit autoexec.bat. So echo off. I'm still going to load that. Yes, so lhi was in this basically. So lhi msc/dex and mscd001/lx and file and save. Right, so I know this won't work, but I'm going to boot on the off chance. Then I need to go and find that what was it? Yeah, oak cd-rom.sys. Yeah, so I did expect it to not find that sys file. That's fine. So yeah, I think I know where I can get oak from. I think Vogons will probably have it. Ah, there we go. Right, so now what I've really got to do is work out how to make a floppy drive image. I believe there's an open source tool for it. So I've got the oak cd-rom.sys there. So create floppy img. No, not interested in parallel. Power ISO tools, make floppy image. Okay, we'll try Power ISO. Oh yeah. What's the best virtualization for a server? Any of them. You know, it depends what you want to do with it. If you want to be scalable, you want to go for something like Google Cloud Platform. If you want something dedicated, then just grab a VPS service. Yes, I can use the format command, and someone's tried to make me use the format command already, but they typed it in wrong, and I demonstrated they typed it in wrong by typing it in. Right, so let's grab Power ISO. I've used this before. And by the way, if you really want to mess someone up, you tell them to use fdisk and delete the partition. That's harder to recover from sometimes. Alright, so Power ISO. No for the floppy disk. No, because it's not a virtual machine, as in it can just create them like that. I'd have to create a floppy disk file before it works. Right. Okay, that's installed now. So now I need to create a very specific IMG file with my file on board it. So right, Power ISO. Okay, just got to wait for it to allow me to do the trial. Continue trial version, thank you. Right, so tools. And make floppy disk image file. That's what I wanted. Destination file. Right, we'll put this in my DOS folder. I should probably be showing you guys this actually. Sorry. Let's turn that on so you can actually see that I am doing things. So d:/dos/ cd driver.img. Yeah, I'm trying to save, so it's IMA, is it? Let's try that again. Go to DOS. Thank you. And CD. Let's just call it CD. Choose what it likes then. Right, so it actually wants to make it from the drive then, so that's not what I wanted. So what I want is just make a floppy disk image. That's from the drive, so let's try write one. Okay. Go to downloads. Grab that. Now I want to install DOS just to play Might and Magic again. I remember running DOS 6.22, Win 3.1, also being able to have Windows 95 on the same drive. Yep, I remember doing that. Oh, that actually has Oak drivers on. You know what? I can use the Windows ME disk. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Right. I've had a disk this entire time. I just didn't realise it. Right, so swap over to here. We'll go load image. It'll probably be version locked to version 7 now, and I won't be able to use it, no, my luck. But if I can just get that sys file. Windows 3.11 for workgroups. Oh yeah, that was the stuff. And that's the ISO. I don't want the ISO. Right, let's actually click on the disk, Daniel, not the CD-ROM. So that's not what you need. And right, let's go to my downloads. That's looking better. Right. Aha! There we have it. We have Oak CD-ROM.sys, a copy Oak CD-ROM.sys to C:/. Yay! And let's hard reset. Actually, let's get rid of this disk as well. So eject drive A. Command. Yay! Right, we have Oak technology. And if I actually load a CD-ROM now, we now have a CD-ROM drive. I now feel accomplished. This is the kind of gaming we used to engage in, where you actually had to work out how to run the game in the first place. Oh dear. I swear, if I have kids, I'm just going to give them a DOS PC and say, if you want to play a game, work it out. Right, so I need to now install. So that's a Windows file, that makes sense. I want to find the DOS installer. I've got to remember now how to install Sound Blaster. Usually install for DOS setup or for Windows. No, install in this case would just is a Windows program, because this is Windows 3.1. Right, just read the screen, man. So this is a Windows 95 and Windows NT disk. That's probably why I'm going wrong in the first place. I might well need a DOS-specific one, though. Is there a Windows 3.1? No. Nope. Okay. I'm seeing why I need it. It might actually come with the games themselves. Let's see if we actually need it. I may not actually need it. So let's try bringing up my old backup disk of games. Now, do I have copy tree on this? Nope. Okay. So I need to work out how to move these files from there to there. You know what? I'll just do them one at a time. It's easier. CLS. So dir/w c:" mkdir games cd games mkdir. What will we go for first? Let's go for Elite. Do we have original Elite on there? Yeah. So now if I go over to here, I'll just go cd Elite dir/w, no folders, that's fine. Copy *.star to c:/games/elite. Okay. I'm hitting the up key because I'm used to Linux and it's not repeating the command. So let's try that again. That's right. That last slash was enough to throw it off. So there's certain modern conventions I'm used to these days that are throwing off my commands. Right, so c:/elite. There we go. We have original Elite. I actually spent hours in this game. Now, the one thing you never did with Elite is shoot on the base. So I'm going to shoot on the base. Now the fuzz are after me. I'm going to die. Yep, they're all out now. Yep, they're very, very angry with me. My energy's almost gone. Yeah, I'm dead. There we go. That was the quickest game of Elite ever. Right, so that was definitely using internal speaker. How the heck do you exit Elite? I can't remember. How'd you quit it? How'd you quit it? I know. You do Control-Alt-Delete. No, Control-Delete, come on. That's not working. Hard reset. Now load a mouse driver. I probably will need a mouse driver at some point. Actually, there might be a mouse driver on the other disk. Let's see if there is. And no, there is no mouse there. Okay. There might be one in DOS, I suppose. There's a lot of M's. So MS backup. Now, while I'm here, I might as well run memmaker just for fun. Is there a mouse there? I don't see mouse. What's MSD? Diagnostics. Fine. Don't need that one. Go away. Go away. Leave me alone. I didn't really want you. I'm so sorry. There we go. It takes me back to the config.sys games. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Let's run memmaker. Memmaker optimizes your system memory by removing memory-resistant programs and force drivers into upper memory. This frees conventional memory. Oh, so it's not the compressor I thought it was. I'm obviously thinking of something else. After you run memmaker, memory remain optimized until you add or remove memory-resistant programs. Yeah, okay, it's fine. Carry on. Express. Do any programs need expanded EMS? No, not right now. Might come back to that one. Restart. So I think this just says it's your autoexec and config.sys automatically. I have to admit, I never actually used that feature much. I used to do it manually because by the time memmaker came along, I didn't want to boot from that. All right, let's try that again. Eject drive A. Yeah, by the time DOS 6.22 came along, I was so good at optimizing these files myself, I just didn't need it. I actually had a few floppy disks with different with different config.sys and autoexec.bat files that I could copy over depending on the game I wanted to use or how much base memory I wanted. Now, is this just in a loop? Yes, my system appears to be working properly. So free. Okay, so before it was using 555. Before it's using. Okay, that's pretty good actually. And we'll just exit then. Let's double check its findings. So we now have total under 1 meg. Yeah, so basically it's given us about. Oh yeah, I didn't actually test it after I loaded the CD drivers and stuff, so it's given me more memory even though I've added drivers since then, so that's actually pretty good decently. I probably should have just used this back in the day. I was probably a bit arrogant by that point. And there we go. So let's see what else we have. What other games do I have on here? Battle chess. Ooh, Jill. I remember Jill of the Jungle. CD games. MKDIR Jill. CD Jill. And then X. And then CD Jill. Copy. Right, are there any directories in this? Nope. Copy star.star to C:. It should remember the last directory I was in, if I remember correctly. So if I go CDIR, yes it did. Okay, good. Some of these skills are starting to come back. And Jill 1. I just typed in kill. Okay, let's try Jill 1. Buying the latest public domain software. Okay, please send no discs. Right, so it's got Sound Blaster effects on, Sound Blaster musical track on. So obviously the Sound Blaster driver comes with games. Okay, that's fine. Enter if this is correct. Oh, we have Sound Blaster audio. I can't tell if this is running faster than it used to, or if it just didn't run very fast because I was using a 386 at the time. Jill bounds through the boulders. I found a knife. I have no idea how to use the knife. What's the control to use the knife? Right, that's save game. No. Right, jump, alt. You know what? If I just read the screen, I wouldn't have these issues. So it's controlled. It's space. Right, so it's shift to jump. Yay! I got points. I like the way it's got arrows pointing where you should be going. Yay, I got past the first one. Use arrow keys to scroll through this. Okay. Young hero B. Jill declared to comment. Okay. I didn't read any of that. Right, remember to save your game by pressing S. Okay, let's press S then. Let's save there. I'm being attacked by bees. No, go away, bees. Okay, well, that happened. That's probably enough of Jill of the Jungle for now. At least I know I don't have to install any Sound Blaster drivers, so that's good. Oh, look at that screen of text. That is a thing of beauty. That is what they used to do when they wanted you to buy the game you just played. So we have... if you've enjoyed this game, please copy it and give Jill to all your friends. This was back in the day when shareware was the main way of advertising your software. So you'd actually take a game like this, and it wasn't frowned upon that you gave it to your friends. They wanted you to give it to all your friends. If you have a modem, upload this game to your local bulletin boards and post messages about it to spread the word. So they actually brought their customers into the marketing campaign. We are Epic Mega Games, and we're here to provide you with top quality computer entertainment. Look at our catalogue.exe for information on our other products. Want more adventures? You can register to order all 3 volumes of the series for just $30 plus $2 in postage and handling. Print the order form for details in the print me, or you can order using our toll-free number. They really wanted you to buy this game, which is that was their business model, so it makes sense. I'm quite curious the catalogue now. It was catalogue, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, there is no catalogue. Is there a catalogue? Apparently there is no catalogue in this one. That's a shame. I was almost interested to see what their catalogue was. There we go. So there's Jill of the Jungle. What browser do I use? I just use Chrome, mate. I've got all my plugins and stuff on Chrome. I'm certainly not going to be swapping over to Bing anytime soon, just because they want to put some AI into it. Right, let's see what other games we have. Let's try Elite Plus. MKDIR Elite Plus. Looks like Elite, please. Let's see what files we have in here. No directories, that's fine. Copy star.star to C:. I keep missing your streams, it's annoying. Well, you're on one right now, so you don't have to be annoyed anymore. Thank you for liking. Right, let's try Elite Plus. What's the name of the file? Elite. Right, do I use the internal PC speaker, an Adlib compatible soundboard, or the Roland? Well, they don't actually have a Sound Blaster option, so I guess PC speaker. Though I could. I wonder if I can get away with that, because I might swap audio cards. So if I system shut down, and then I edit my configuration settings, it'll be like doing a card swap, and it shouldn't matter because it's DOS. Right, so Adlib Gold. Let's go for Adlib Gold, shall we? No, let's go for the original one. That's probably safer. So now I can say there's one of those in there. Let's now rerun the machine. This is one of the advantages of an emulator. I don't have to open up the side of the case, rip out my old ISA card, put another one in there. I could just swap the software around, in theory. Let's see if it actually works. CD Games, CD Elite Plus. I need to get used to this 8-character file system, because if you have more than 8 characters, it would just squiggly line and number you. dir/w Elite. Right, so now we have the Adlib compatible soundboard. Ooh, do we want EGA graphics, VGA graphics, or MCGA graphics? I don't even know if the S3 Trio supports MCGA, but we're going to try for all the colours, and it works. Wow. Now we have Elite Plus. Isn't it a thing of beauty? All those amazing colours. Nope, I don't want to redefine keys. Nope. There we go. So we've got credit. So basically you got a little thing. Now this wouldn't have actually supported mouse at all. So if you click here, because I don't have a mouse driver installed, everything's done by keys. And everything in this game is done by function keys. So you could see the goods you wanted to buy. And I spent so much time in this game. You got a list of what you have, your rating, your legal status, what you clocked. Ironically, I've been playing Elite on the original BBC model this morning. That's cool. I used to play Elite on the BBC Master quite a lot. It wasn't until many years later I discovered Elite Plus with all its amazing graphics. This is how you got around. You could hyperspace within your fuel range. You could sell your equipment. So, for example, if you wanted to get some more credits to fill up your cargo bay with something, you could sell your stuff. There we go. So I've just sold 3 of my doodahs there. I'm going to keep my pulse laser. But the goal is to get to a nice beam laser, and the ultimate in this one was the military laser. I actually think I have Elite 2 or Frontier on my backup disk, so we'll find out later. And if I go here, we then have some information. Now, the really interesting thing about Elite was it actually contained descriptions for every system. And remember, this was back in the day when you were basically writing everything in less than a megabyte of memory. And on things like the BBC Master, you had even less than that. I think you had like 64K of memory if you were lucky. But there's more often than not it would sort of run in 32K, so you had these tiny amounts of memory. So it used to use a procedural method, much like Minecraft does today to create its worlds. Not the same formula, of course, but the same principle of randomly generating based on a seed. That way you could recreate the data without having to have it all in there. But you did have some interesting descriptions on some of the planets because they weren't quite right because it was all generated. So as you can see, this place is cursed by a civil war. Let's go. Oh, that's a bit sensitive on the keys. Right, let's try that. So 10. Oh, sorry, 10 goes home. So 9. Find which system. Listi. There we go. So that's another way of finding it. Now, did it give you information on it? So if I go 11, data on Listi, there you go. Planet Listi is scourged by killer mountain Epsilonoids. See what I mean? It just comes up with these sort of random descriptions. And it generates the economies and the government states and their gross national production and their tech level and all that kind of stuff. So it ended up being quite a complex game to explore. Despite it being, relatively simple by today's standards. I'm trying to remember how I increased my speed. There we go. So there's speed increase. You used to be able to jump drive, or it wasn't frame shift. That's the new one. Yeah, it's just called jump drive. So you just press J, I think. I remember now. How did I jump drive on this? Alright, first of all, I need to go to full speed. There we go. Now we're at full speed. Now I'm going to try jump drive. Was it W? I can't remember the keys. I'm literally pressing everything now. Trouble is, it might still be mass. Oh, I'm being attacked. Oh, it's such a pain trying to get them in with keys. Yay! I just got 20 credits by killing that guy. So basically, you just fly towards the sun, then you fly towards the planet, and that's how you found the space stations. Oh, something's shooting me. I don't know what was shooting me. There must be the guy behind. Is it you? So who was shooting me? Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm not going to play a load of this game. So let's exit this. And yes, I want to exit. There we go. So that was Elite Plus. That was the upgraded version. The other one someone mentioned was, yep, we're going to upgrade even further now to Elite 2. We'll see if we can get that running. Now I'm going to set my my audio board back. So I'm going to shut that down, and I'm going to edit my configuration settings, and I'm going to change it back to a sound blaster. See, the great thing about being too young is you get to learn new things. And okay, and play. So we're now rebooting from the BIOS. We're doing a memory check once, twice, and 3 times just to make sure that RAM is in a good state. Have I played Jazz Jackrabbit? No, I don't think I have, actually. I don't remember that one. And X CD Luna, that's not a funny joke. Yep, I got Elite 2 there. Yep, we copy all that over. C:Games and CD Elite 2, and now we'll copy all over. So you're actually seeing the evolution of the Elite games, which I played a lot as a kid, which is why I'm fixated on them right now. Copy star.star and C:. See, this one takes a little longer to copy over. So how much storage would these games take? Good question. This was 1 megabyte in size, just over. So we'll get to see the glorious graphics of Elite. This is probably Frontier, actually. Right. Unable to run Frontier. No expanded. Right, so I do need an EMS driver here. Okay. So this is where we learn about a new kind of memory management. This has gone from HiMem to something else called EMS, which was another way of expanding memory. And games used to use this a lot. So we'll just go memmaker. And we'll tell it, yes, we need it this time. So continue. Express setup. Do any programs that you need? Yes. Yes, they do. So hopefully that will be a quick way of getting that working. So we'll reboot now. EMS was a giant pain. Massive pain. Mostly because it loaded up into base memory. You end up losing base memory loading that thing up. I know you could load it into high memory, but it's just, just why do you exist? Why can't you just build memory management into your games? Right. I am definitely cheating here. I would never have used memmaker back in the day. I really wouldn't. I would have spent at least half an hour messing around with the config files, so I got it the way I wanted. But again, that's because I came into DOS, was like maybe 4 or 5, so we didn't have memmaker back then. Yes, I assume everything's working. Right, okay, so we have we've lost a bit of base memory. That's fine. We're still over 600k. So I'm just going to do mem. It's just quicker. Yeah, so we've lost 7k of memory to loading the EMS maker. But now we have a new one here, which is EMS, which is another way of just extending beyond base memory, basically. So now we're going to games, CD games. Yeah. I know, right? I'll be talking about double space next. Oh, that'll be fun. I'll run double space in a bit. I'm self-taught from manuals. Exactly, same way here. Same thing. It amazes me how few people, how many people these days have trouble researching topics where you and I would be like, paper manuals, where's the information? Oh, you had to read manuals back then. There was no other way of getting the information. You have to read a ton of manuals just to get the modem running, just to find out how to access the information, which wasn't there yet because the internet wasn't well formed. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. And thank you, Tom, for following as well. So, Elite 2. Let's see if this works now. Frontier. Ooh, so Sound Blaster compatible. There we go. I used to be amazed at this opening as a kid. I'm not hearing any music though. Oh, there we go. I must have watched this intro thousands of times, just going, the graphics, it's amazing. But then jumping from what we just saw to this is actually quite a huge leap. I mean, you got moving parts on the ships, you got engine flares, you got a starry background. You've even got a story being told. I know everyone else is going, all these, oh look, 3D clouds. 3D clouds were a huge thing back then. Huge mountains. It was like, wow, this is immersive. Of course, now we have VR games that make this look like a joke, but it still looks pretty good to me. Given the amount of resources this is taking to run. And let's face it, we have watches that could run 10 of these games at the same time now. Old mainframer here. First part of getting US or system was uploading the palette of manuals. Yes, unloading the palette of manuals. A loss of boa with hundreds of shield. Yep, I used to go the Panther class with something like 200 shield generators, and then go. He had a plasma. He had a heavy plasma accelerator, and I died anyway. It was so buggy. Now this one wasn't too bad. The one that was really buggy was the one after this, which was Elite First Encounters. That barely ran. I remember buying the Elite First Encounters from my mate. He gave me an amazing deal on it. It was like 10 quid. Wow, this was a £30 game back then. He sold it for me for a tenner. I got my discs in the machine, and I could not even buy a ship. I could not buy a single ship in the game. I had to telephone their technical support. I had to get them to send me patches on a floppy disk before I could even do basic features in the game. And it spent years just being this garbled. In fact, it was a very good first example of pre-release software. People go out and buy alpha software now and they know it's going to be buggy. We didn't know back then. We thought this was a fully complete game and it just wasn't. It was best when your hyperdrive failed and you ended up across the galaxy in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Because you didn't do maintenance on your hard drive. Sorry, not hard drive, on your hyperdrive. Did anyone buy games in the 90s? Yes, of course we did. You had to buy the games in order to get the manuals because you had to type in Word on page X in order to actually use your game. No, to be fair, games back then were very well tested. Now, first of all, they weren't as big as games now, to be fair. But secondly, they knew that the product they sent out was not something you could just update online. This is what you got, and you were very lucky if the company would send you an update disk or something. You couldn't just go download a patch. So there was a lot of testing done, and generally games were pretty solid. But with Frontier, they were working with a publisher company, and they were taking lots and lots of time trying to get the game right and fixed. And the publisher company just ran out of patience. They were running advertising campaigns. They decided just to take what Frontier had given them as a demo, package it and sell it. And it just ended up being this whole lawsuit between Frontier Developments and I think it was Game Tech, the ones that were selling it. So that turned into a whole massive thing. And that's what basically killed the Elite games for quite a long time, until, of course, Elite Dangerous came up from a campaign more recently. But yes, typically games were pretty solid back then. So we can start in Mars, we can start in Ross, we're going to the Leave system. My game was on 1.4 discs with a big manual, exactly. That's how they were. I have returned from the liquid hole. Nice. Right, so let's just start off with the recommended start position. So here we go. We've gone from just launching out of star bases to... Now, actually, I don't think I need a mouse driver for this one. I think I can still use keys. Let's find out. Yes. See, this was the amazing thing of 3D graphics back then. Different perspectives. You could see different areas of your ship. That was the whole thing back then. This was advanced technology. We never had a manual with copied games. Yes, and often it stopped us from playing those games because often the games would say, type in a word from page 12, line 3, word 6. And that was their copyright protection, is did you have a manual with your pirated game? Go to Archangel on the original Elite. Try to remember that. I don't remember that at all, sorry. Anyway, this is the 3D map you got. So you got this sort of massive universe you could explore. Look at all these worlds. It was actually quite a sophisticated game for the time. It's still quite a sophisticated game by today's standards. It's probably one of the earliest examples of open world games. Spelling is optional. I wouldn't worry about it. So we had to go to the bulletin board and actually ask to take off, if I remember. That's right. So we had the telephone. I had to submit a launch request. If I just launched, they would find me. This is probably where I need the mouse, actually. Can I navigate without it? Okay, I need to find a mouse driver. I cannot use this without a mouse driver. Yeah, my mouse pointer. Nope. I'm pressing keys just to see if there's a keyboard alternative. Nope. Okay, I now need to find a DOS mouse driver. I just search on the net, mate. They've got loads of copies. If you've owned it before, I wouldn't worry about it. DOS mouse driver. You needed to buy an interplanetary shield before you could leave the atmosphere. Yes. Yes, because you had planetary and you had not, didn't you? Yeah, it's quite a detailed game, to be honest. See, I can't access the bulletin or shipyard, so I'll show you what was on there, but I can't access it without a mouse driver. So that's now my next thing. How to get mouse to work with MS-DOS. So yeah, it's mouse.com or mouse.sys. So I need to find out where to download those. If I remember, I used to install Windows 3.1 and I used to grab the mouse driver from there. Oh, do we have a download? I think we might have a download disk. I think I found Microsoft Mouse 11. Let's see if it actually works. Right, I'll just hard reset this. Right. Reset. Wish.com drivers. It took a while for me to figure out, as I was born in 1986, so I was only very young. I mean, I was only born 6 years before you, to be fair. Right. Disk. Change disk A. And did it actually download? It's just in a 7-zip file, that's why. That's fine. So let's extract Microsoft 11 drivers, see if it's what I think it is. Probably turn out to be a very, very specific mouse. Let's find out. There we go, Microsoft mouse. There's a disk image. Move that over there. A colon dir mouse.exe. There we go. So let's go C:\mkdir mouse copy a:** Don't know if this is the right thing or not. Let's find out. Mouse. There we go. Okay, that should be it. So that means I can actually edit the autoconfig.sys and load it high. So edit autoexec.bat, and I want to load high mouse lhay /mouse/mouse.exe, file save, file exit, and reboot. It'd be interesting to see if this actually works with the game the way I would think. What would be max supported DPI? We did have DPI, man. We had a little ball thing that ran on rollers, dots per inch for an optical thing. I think the mouse was basically analog back then. Yes, the gumballs, exactly. Tracker balls, yes. CD games. CD Elite 2 Frontier. Yes, I would like some nice Sound Blaster audio. Thank you very much. Yay! I have a mouse pointer. That was remarkably painless. Okay, so now I can start my game and actually click on things, which was another fantastic innovation of the time, was just being able to interact with a GUI. And shipyard. So now we can see upgrades. So fit or remove. We got mines, atmospheric shielding. So how do I find out what's actually installed? You cannot afford new atmospheric shielding. So if I sold my atmosphere, right, so I've just removed my atmospheric shielding. That has saved me some money. This is not going to go well for me. I've just removed all my missiles. Okay. We don't need automatic pilot. Who needs that, eh? We don't need a class 1 hyperdrive. We'll get rid of that one. We'll just put an interplanetary drive instead, which means I can just fly around the solar system. I've just ruined my ship. Oh yeah, there was a hex code edit with a program called Fred. Fred was not a registry hacker. It was a file viewer that dealt with hex code. So it used to represent everything in 16, base 16 basically. And you'd go in there and alter parts of your save file or parts of the exe file that basically gives you unlimited cache. So I could now look at other ships. Then we got Constrictor, Tiger, so there's nothing I can buy there. Yes, the joys of hex code. So what am I going to need? I'm going to need to buy some fuel, I suspect, because I've probably just emptied my tank. So let's click on that. Let's go to stock market. This is where you would buy and sell stuff. I'm going to need some fuel. So I've got 1 ton of hydrogen fuel. I'll buy another 4 tons. And then I'm going to take off and explode anyway because I removed my atmospheric shielding. So let's get a launch request. They can see me. This is where I go. How on earth do I do this? Okay, so I could move my ship by holding down the right mouse button. What did you do to take off? That wasn't it. Do not raise your landing gear while on the ground. That was Elite Dangerous, and this was the perfect way to demonstrate how an idiotic pilot can die instantly. Oh, jeez. Right. Okay. I'm going to try taking off anyway. Right. So I got the fuel here, but I've just incurred a fine. And I don't know how to actually increase my acceleration. Okay, so that's thrust that way. Okay, I've now got a fine for firing my lasers in a protected area, so I might as well just start shooting this guy for fun of it. Yep, okay, we're going to have another elite moment where I get trounced by the police. Hello there. And I'm dead. There we go. So I just I took off without permission. I fired at a civilian ship. The police flew out and said, "You're dead, mate." Didn't even ask me any questions. You're just dead. So you can die by raising your gear while loaded, and you can die by not knowing how to take off properly. This was actually quite an unforgiving game in many ways. So the leave system was more of a space station. No. Oh, is it planet, is it? That doesn't seem right. Let's try that again. It's just easier to quit and start again, isn't it? There we go. So I'm going to try 3, leave system. Yeah, there we go. So now we're inside a start base. This is Frontier Elite Dangerous. This is a game from like 1996, I think. So we're going to go... Right, so you can't leave by accident here. You have to ask permission, so we could do a launch request. And you get the entire animation of you actually leaving the space station, which I always thought was super cool back then. So, there we go. I'm now free and in space. So, of course, the first thing I'm going to do is find the biggest military cruiser I can find and shoot it to see what happens. Just the idea of scale as you get closer, I always found very impressive as a kid. Oh. It's like attacking your own very own Star Destroyer. Oh, I think somebody's shooting at me. Now, because I'm emulating a... I think the police are just exploding in the hangar, which did sometimes happen in this game. So you see all those exploding pieces? That's the police trying to launch from the space station. The game has gone wrong, and everyone's just exploding inside the hangar. So basically, I can just attack whatever I like right now, because the police can't actually leave their hangar. Now, one thing to remember with this game is you have where you're pointing, and you have that second pointer. That's the direction you're actually travelling in. So it would actually simulate a drift in space. So you got quite a bit of freedom in this game, I have to admit. Right, I could literally spend hours playing this game, so I'm not going to. I'm going to move on to something else I've got in my archive. So let's exit this one. But you've seen how we had to work for our games back then. All the setup and stuff we had to do. Okay. Is it Control C, Control Q? Yeah, Control C. Control C was our alternative to Alt and F4 back then. And it's still quite widely used in Linux. Though quite often it's Control Control Z instead. So what else have we got? This will probably be the last game for this stream. I think I've been streaming for about 2 hours now. Yeah. So we'll try one more. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the directory, and you guys can let me know what you want me to play next. So if I go to... There we go. So we have Battle Chess 4K, Doom 2. We have Flight Simulator 5. We have Pop. Now, what was Pop? Prince of Persia. We had Star Goose, Shadow Warrior, Solar Wind, Space Harrier, Star Goose CGA, and Wing Commander. At least they aren't the tape games that took ages to load up. I agree. Though I think we can all agree that installing these things from floppy disks onto hard drives and loading them wasn't exactly a fast process. It's certainly a lot faster the way I'm doing it on this emulator. So is anyone interested in seeing Wing Commander, Star Goose, Space Harrier, Solar Wind, Shadow Warrior, Prince of Persia, Flight Simulator, Doom 2, Doom, Battle Chess, or Battle Chess 4K? Wing Commander? Okay. So, MKDIR, Wing Commander. Again, back in the days where you only had 4 characters for your directory names. Oh, this may actually be an installable one. I'm going to cancel that. That might be a bit more sophisticated than I planned. So del star.star, and we'll run the installation program. Okay, so we have MCGA with 256 colours. Creative Labs Sound Blaster. Yes, that is correct. Okay, so basically that's all it did. I thought it was actually a full installation program, so I should have done what I was doing in the first place. Yeah, so I'll just do it this way. Are there any folders in this? No. Copy star.star to C:. Right. Still probably faster than GTA. Which version? I think GTA 1 was releasing about now. C:. Now we do the install. Yes. Creative Lab Sound Blaster. Yes, it's correct. Installation successful. So WC. Expanded memory is detected. Yes. I wonder how this will run on a 486 SX33. The powerhouse of all computers. Not really. This is very much the configuration I used to have as a kid. It was not a fast machine by any means. I think this is where you go and have a cup of tea. you would be more reassured with a real machine because you would hear the hard drive clicking away. I think Jog On thinks he's being funny by saying format C, as if no one else in this live has said it so far. I'll be more impressed if someone came into chat and said F-disk. It sounds a bit rude and it would mess up your system. It wasn't fast, but it eventually did the job. Yep. Probably. I mean, I have no way if this is just frozen or not. So I'm going to give it the classic 2 minutes, and then I'm probably going to have to try something else. I could do with a little indicator at the bottom of the window just showing the CPU working. Oh, it does have 100% in the top of the window, but you can't see that. It would be nice to have some more information. I wonder if there's any tools for that. Nope. To be honest, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Control C isn't working. That would normally. Control Q isn't working. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just frozen. We'll do a hard reset on that one. 486 was a waste of art. Remember going from BBC Master to 286. I did indeed start off in a 286. I was not unfortunate enough to go all the way back to x86, but I do remember running a 16 megahertz. Was it 16? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a 16 megahertz 386 processor. Alright, we're going to try that one again. Uh, 486DX25. Now, see, yours would be faster than mine because I only had the SX series, which means I didn't have that Mathco processor. And there were a few games back then that required that Mathco processor, and I just couldn't run them. I can't remember the name of the game that kept tripping me up now, but it's some sort of trippy, arty, very colourful thing that just would not work for me. Let's see if there's anything else I need to worry about. So it does have disk 1, disk 2, etc. But all the files are there, so it probably doesn't matter. Okay, we'll try Water Closet again. I mean Wing Commander. I'm going to give this another 1 minute. If it doesn't work, try another game. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work at all. I think Wing Commander is dead for some reason. It might be one of those games that needs a DX processor. Actually, what's the minimum requirements for Wing Commander? Oh, there is one other thing I can do, actually. I might try taking down the colours, because it might be the graphics card. Wing Commander minimum specs. It'll probably show me the new one now. Yep. DOS. Well, this reckons it needs DirectX 9, so I'm pretty sure that's a newer version of Wing Commander than the one I'm using. Will I type in again? Ah. Setup. Huh? install. Alright, let's try bringing it down to EGA graphics. We'll keep the Sound Blaster. Yes, we'll say that's correct. Okay, so now it's converting some stuff. Good. I'm glad you've learned a lot of things from me. Just send me some videos sometime on the projects you've taken on since. Do you think a 5600X is a good enough combo for an RTX 3060? I don't see why not. $3060 is a good mid-range card. I think a 5600X would do fine with it. You used to work for Creative Labs. Brilliant. I'd love to know what was going on in that company. It's doing a lot of converting, isn't it? See, what it's doing right now is it's bringing it down from 256 colours down to a palette of 16. Graphics conversion done. Right, let's see if Water Closet works now. Well, according to minimum system requirements on the web, it needs a 1.8 gigahertz processor, half a gigabyte of RAM, and 2 gigabytes of hard drive. So I suspect that that isn't the original DOS version. There we go. So minimum CPU required was an 8088 or an 8086. Wow, it really didn't need much in the way of graphics then. It needed an EGA, MCGA, Tandy, PC Junior or VGA graphics. Adlib, PC speaker, yeah. This should really be running. 10D mode requires 640k of RAM. Okay. I'm not using that mode, so it doesn't matter. Yep, sorry guys, I don't know why this game isn't working. Maybe I need a different version or something. So let's hard reset. You know what? That's a good question. Can it run Doom? Let's find out. Right. Yes, I didn't want to boot from a system disk anyway, so that's fine. So, CD games, MKDIR Doom. The game that made me feel so sick when I was a kid. Thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. And Doom. DIR. Are there any folders here? Nope, we're good. Copy star.star to C:. Watch all that amazing data transfer. We are now transferring a massive 19 megabytes of game files. Just think of that. The games I've been playing so far have been about 1 meg, so this is 19 times larger than most of those games. And I do have the mouse driver installed, so it should work with the mouse driver. There we go. So now let's go over here. We're going to type in setup. Right, so we're going to select the music card. Okay, so we got Sound Blaster. This was quite an advanced game. It supported the AWE32. So that's pretty cool. I assume that's the right port. Sound FX cards, Sound Blaster again, because it would need one card for audio, one card for MIDI a lot of the time. So you could actually have two cards involved in the process. Yes, we have 8 channels. Controller type, we're going to have, I'm just going to go keyboard only. Save and run Doom, didn't say anything about video graphics, so we'll then do that. Brilliant. Checking parameters. Ooh, almost looks a bit like Linux boot sequence, doesn't it? Checking command line parameters. And there you go. In answer to your question, yes, it can run Doom. In answer to your question, no, it cannot run Doom. It ran it briefly. Demo is from a different game version. Okay. So obviously there's something wrong with my old backup here. Don't know what that is. So we're going to have to answer the other question, I'm very sorry, is will it run Doom 2? I obviously didn't copy these over properly when I was doing backups at the time. Come on, typing properly down. There we go. Let's try Doom 2. It's technically Doom. Thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Actually, I'll let you guys can decide if it can run Doom based on the fact that it initially loaded up the screen and then did nothing. That may actually be an installer. Ah, we got a full installer here. That's good. So actually, which drive to install? C. Yep. We want to go games/Doom 2. Does not create. Sorry, does not exist. Please create. Now you're getting to see some classic installation screens. Now normally this would have been on floppy disks, and you would have been for every 12% or so fitting in another flipping floppy disk. I think there was like 8 or so. Now we're doing the extraction process. We are now extracting, I think it was maybe 32 gigs of data or something on an old 486 SX33 machine. The pride of my youth. My ultimate gaming machine. While everyone else was sitting there with Spectrums and Nintendos and Sega Mega Drives and all those kind of things, I was sitting home playing games using machines like this. While they could sit there and just plug in their cartridges, I had to work out what the hell high mem was and EMS 386 and everything else. And you're sitting there asking dumb questions like, why do I want the 386 version when I'm running a 486? Okay, so Sound Blaster, yep. Sound Blaster, yep. We can do 8 channels, I'm sure. Save and run Doom. Right, so I'm going to change your question slightly. Will it run Doom 2? And my answer is maybe. We'll find out. Exactly. I think we learned so much more because we had to actually work to get our games running. Oh, come on, you can do it. Yay! Doom running on a 486 33 megahertz SX. Oh, these games used to make me feel so ill, but they were so fun. Right, let's go for a new game. You know what, let's go for Nightmare. That way I can, really, really die quickly for you. Yes, it can run Doom 2. Actually, a lot smoother than I thought it would be. Could you strife on this one? Yes, you can. So you've got arrow keys and you've got the left and right chevrons. Oh, there's more of them. There's more of them. They respawn. They respawn. I didn't remember them doing that in nightmare mode. Okay. So collect your ammo, move on, man. They're going to be respawning. Oh, no, no, no. Rocket launcher guy. Fire. Oh, no, there's loads of them. I'm dead. I'm dead. This is running on a 486. Now, it's emulated, but it's a 486 SX33 with 16 megabytes of RAM, an S3 Trio32 graphics card with a Sound Blaster 16. That's the configuration I've run it. Oh, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Strafe. Strafe. Strafing was not optional in Doom. But you kind of had to take your hands off the keyboard. Copy the WAD file from Doom 1 to Doom 2. I'm not sure if that works. Might try that in a moment. Yes, quit to DOS. I'm going to try copying the WAD file. Let's see what that yields. And yes, I got the right folder. I am now copying. It is copying. It will give you no progress bar whatsoever, but it's a massive 11 megabyte file being transferred on a 486 33 SX. There we go, it's finally copied. And now we're going to try typing in Doom again, which apparently is not the name of it. We'll see what happens now we've copied the file over. Please report software piracy. Do not distribute. This is like Doom 2 to me. The WAD file made no difference. There's probably a command line or switch to load it there. Actually, I wonder if I type in Doom 2. Let's see if that makes a difference. Probably won't. My gun is so accurate. Oh yeah, I have to admit, Nightmare is a lot less stressful than... sorry. Hurt Me Plenty is a lot less stressful than full-on Nightmare mode. I keep going for WASD automatically. I'm having trouble actually using these arrow keys. How do we use this control scheme for so long? Oh, and I'm dead. There we go. Okay. So you can now see that my awesome Doom skills are first rate and no one could ever beat me. So technically it will not play Doom, but it will play Doom 2. So I hope that's helped people out. Right, what else have we got? So we have Prince of Persia is quite fun. Shadow Warrior. Let's try. Let's go for one last early FPS game. So CD. I think Shadow Warrior is done by the same people who did Duke Nukem. There wasn't a Doom 1 WOD. Oh, replace the Doom 2 WOD with the Doom 1 WOD. Okay, I'm with you now. I'll give it a go. Why not? Doom. Really. Doom 2. dir star dot wad. So ren Doom 2. Does ren, did ren work back then? I can't remember. Doom 2.old. Yes, it did. Okay. So ren Doom dot wad to Doom 2.wad, and we'll try running it again. Sorry, it's Doom 2, isn't it? Let's see if that works. Or it's adding Doom 2.wad commercial version. Init play loop state. It's having a think. It's still having a think. It's continuing to have a think. Don't think this is going to work. Right, 2-minute rule. 2-minute rule. People can ask me questions while I'm sitting here waiting for it not to work. One more minute. Once it hits 18:24, I'm done. If I remember correctly, I think it was an in IWD switch you had to use. Okay, I'll try that. Let's see if I actually quit it. Hard reset. Just look at that beautiful BIOS screen. Who could want more in a PCA? Well, me. I was always looking for upgrades as a kid. I was always looking for the next shiny thing. Ooh, Power VR came out and it's cheaper than Voodoo. Doom 2. Doom 2 / iWad. Let's see if that makes a difference. I'm happy to try things. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate it. You are now paying for my future 486 live build, which I might do if I ever have enough money. I'm only going to give it 1 minute this time. I'm pretty sure this still isn't going to work. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate it. that's dead. That's not working. A valiant attempt, my friend, but yeah, it's not that simple. Right. I'm going to try one more game for me, which will be Battle Chess, and then I'll call it the end of a live. CD Games, MKDIR, Battle Chess. And CD Battle Chess dir and copy star.star tool C:, and C:. Is it just chess? Yeah. This is a game my brothers and I used to play quite a lot growing up. Mostly because it's one of the few two-player games we had that didn't involve massive arguing at the end of it. Oh, does it have protection on? That'll do. I think it may have had manual protection on there. And I can't do anything. Okay. Well, that's what Battle Chess looked like. It's a shame I can't actually do anything with it. I think Transport Tycoon was one of my favourite DOS games. Maybe Pirates Gold or even Pinball Wizard. Don't think I ever played Pirates Gold. We did play Transport Tycoon. No, Roller Coaster Tycoon was the one we had. I'll try Battle Chess 4K. It probably doesn't work because I didn't have the password you needed from the book. I was telling you earlier about the fact that you had to have the manual with the game. And if you didn't have the manual, you couldn't go to page whatever and type in code whatever. Games, MKDIR, Battle Chess 4K, CD Battle Chess 4K. We'll see if this one works. Oh, let's try X. CD-dir. CD Battle Chess 4K. BTLCH 4K. There we go. Copy star.star to C:. These games are old backup ones from my disk, so Battle Chess usually works in DOSEMU. As I say, because these are backups of my old floppies, that's probably why they're not working. They haven't really been altered in any way. They're closer to the original software. But I'm not using DOS DOSBox anyway, or DOSEMU. I'm using PC emulator, so it's emulating all the old hardware. Yeah, it's probably a legitimate copy. They just went, yeah, mate, you don't have the manual, go away. BC 4000. Let's see if this works. Interplay, the one that did all the Star Trek games back in the day. Again, it's just not doing anything. Oh, it does beep if I pound it. Yeah, Starfleet Academy, Star Trek 25th Anniversary, Star Trek Judgment Rights. I think they did the Starfleet Command games as well. Yeah, that's not working. Yeah, that's done. That is done. I'm not going to get to relive Battle Chess today, unfortunately. It is indeed locked up. That was it's locked up, it's very unhappy. Everything I pressed was just beeping away. I want to play at least one last game before I go. Shadow Warrior. We'll try Shadow Warrior. So CD games, KDIR, Shadow Warrior, CDSW, and CD Shadow Warrior. Copy star to C:. We have ascertained that Doom 2 works, but my Doom 1 copy does not work. Not sure why. Basically complained about the WAD file, I think, which means my original backup may not have been very good. So Shadow Warrior was done by the same people who did Duke Nukem. It was actually a pretty amazing game. It got all rave reviews back then, but a lot of people disapproved of it because it was one of these games that had gore and blood in it. Now, of course, what we call gore and blood today is probably quite laughable compared to what it was back then. But still, the media was all over it going, games make people violent and all kinds of stuff. And it's just like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. Side-scrolling Duke or first-person shooter? First-person shooter. We are currently experiencing true 486 SX33 transfer speeds when copying from a CD-ROM onto a local hard drive. I wrote save editors for Duke and Commander Keen. Oh, Commander Keen, I remember that. I should have found Commander Keen. It would have gone well with Jill of the Jungle. And it's copied. Setup. Right. Sound setup. Choose FX card. Right, so we want Sound Blaster 16. I don't know what Sound Man is. I'm just going to go with Sound Blaster on the basis that I don't think it's... yeah, just use these. Continue. Sure, 32 voices, 16-bit mixing, stereo sound. Oh, we got some... Yeah, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Nope, that's not loaded, so that's not it. It must be... I'm pretty sure those are correct. We'll try taking it down to 8 voices, 8-bit mixing, stereo sound, 22. Test. Nope. Possibly due to conflicting IRQ. Oh, those were annoying when we had to deal with those. Sound Blaster. Okay, so that's the address I've been picking for the other ones. Let's go Sound Blaster or Sound Blaster compatible. Might be the DMA16 channel that's a problem. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to go with this. 8 voices, 8-bit mixing, stereo sound, 32-bit test. Whatever. Okay, we're going to play this without audio. Screen setup. Ooh, let's go Visa mode, Super VGA. Let's go high resolution, shall we? 800 by 600. Take that, 4Kers. Secret Agent. Almost forgot about that one. Just found you via emulating Windows ME video. I never got to fully explore ME. Oh, you're so lucky, especially in the early days. Controller setup. Setup mouse. That's fine. We'll just go with that. And save and launch Shadow Warrior. It's going to have no audio, I'm afraid, because I don't know how to fix it. I'm on a PC set on 256 with DDR3 ECC, which makes you a lot more powerful than what I'm emulating right now. Right, playback fail, possibly due to invalid conflict IRQ. Oh. Unfortunately, I don't have a computer where I can go in and swap the little jumpers to get the right IRQ on the right value. And I don't even know what will be conflicting with it because it's an emulator. But that is definitely a message that I've seen before. I'm on a 16-core, 32 threads. Nice. Well, if you take 10% of one of those cores, you could probably do with what I'm doing now. I'm going to have to resize this one. Now, you'll have to take my word for it, but the audio on this was pretty impressive. Ooh, now it's feeling the 486SX limitation. Entering Senpaku Station. Eventually, maybe, if it can be bothered. I may actually need to increase the value of the hardware. At the beginning of this, I started this with the aim of emulating my original 486 computer. And it's proven unable to run a few things. Now, because this is slower hardware, I'm going to assume it's taking a little bit of time. So if anyone has any questions or anything they want to ask while this fails to load, please let me know. It may even be that I don't have enough RAM because I've only got 16 megabytes of RAM on this. But I would have assumed it would give me some kind of error. Actually, what were the minimum specifications for this game? Shadow Warrior. DOS specifications. So minimum RAM was 16 megabytes, which is what I got this machine set to. DOS 6.2, minimum class CPU required Intel Pentium. Okay, that's not going to work on a 486 SX because the difference between the SX and the DX is this did not have the math coprocessor. So Shadow Warrior is dead. That's not going to run. It turned out my childhood machine was incredibly crap. Which I did know at the time, to be fair, because I did often encounter things I couldn't run on it. Next time I do one of these, I'll jump up to my next machine that I owned, which would probably be a 486 DX 66, I think. It might have been the 50. But it was definitely a DX class processor. And then I went on to the Cyrix 150 Plus. So really that was an Intel Pentium 100 or 120, something like that. So let's see if there's... I want to run one last game before I go. One last game, that's all. I could go for something... let's try Flight Simulator. Let's see if Flight Simulator works. I was on the DX2 66 camp, yeah. Yeah, that was my next major upgrade from this. I think it was the same machine, I just dropped the processor in there. My childhood was an AMD A10. Ooh, someone had advanced hardware for their childhood. Imagine what we would have done with an AMD A10 back in the day. Jeez, we would have ruled the world. We would have been hacking nations and exploiting nuclear powers. What was I going to run again? I can't remember. Oh yeah, Flight Simulator. My dad, 32 a whole kilobyte of RAM. Tell me about it. I think I was on the BBC Master, so I think I had 64K. BBC Master. But before that, I was on the Atari 400, which I think I had like 8K. Oh, actually, the BBC Master was quite advanced. It had 128K. The Atari 400 RAM, I think that was 8K. You could upgrade it to 48K if you were lucky. It came with 8K as standard. British Broadcasting Company made PCs. What they actually did was they partnered with a company called Acorn. What they wanted to do was run a series of educational programs on TV, but because everyone was using different hardware, they weren't able to standardize. So what they did is they hired Acorn. I think it was the Acorn Electron they ended up converting into the BBC Master, something along those lines anyway. And they ended up establishing a language called BBC Basic. And then BBC Basic is what was taught in the programme. So every week you would have a BBC broadcast showing people how to program computers. And that's why it became the BBC Master. Because they just needed that standardised machine for classrooms and schools. And that's why the BBC Master was so popular in schools. Acorn also produced the Acorn Archimedes afterwards, which was a much more powerful machine that still used the BBC Basic language as well. But that never really caught on as much as the BBC Master did. I played Quake on my dad's home network, which had a Matrix Millennium GPU. I remember the Matrix GPUs. They still sell them today, believe it or not. And they still sell them for ridiculous amounts of money. And it's not an updated CPU. It is still largely based on the original. What was I forgot what I was doing again now. A flight simulator. MKDIR flight. Right, FS5. I've probably already done that. No, I haven't. CD FS5. Right. CD FS5. Copy star.star to C:. And now we get to see Flight Simulator probably not work. All my friends were jealous playing on their SNESes. I know, right? We had keyboards. We had tapes and floppy disks. And we could program our machines. Yes, Acorn were the original people to start the ARM processor. I can't remember what they called it at the time. I think it was Acorn Research Machines or something. And of course that got changed later on. dir/w and setup. Okay, let's go Super VGA. Let's really push it to its limits. Actually, does it have my card? S3. Does it? No. Right, S3 card. Does it have any other S3s? No, it doesn't. It's in a language I can't read. That's horrific. Okay. Anyone speak German? Oh, there we go. No, that didn't work. I think I'm doing it right, but it's in another language, so I don't know. Error code 02. I don't think my original backups were very good. I think I probably need to find better replacements for the games. Let's try FS. Error occurred. Error code 002. Okay, so a file is basically broken. That makes sense. It was backed up from an old machine. I'm just having no luck with these later games. I will run something before I leave this live, I swear it. Even if I have to go and run something else. So what have we got here? I think it was the Acorn Archimedes, but it could be wrong. Yes, the Acorn Archimedes VGA. VGA, I know, right? What is Super VGA? My first computer was a VIC-20. My father's first machine was a Dragon 64. Luna feels like a newborn in this group. I'm afraid, mate, you kind of are. You're not in the right place to speak our language, I'm afraid. What should I run? What should I fail at next? Prince of Persia is a very safe game. If I can't get that running, then I will probably just rage quit. KTIR. POP. CD POP. Copy. Star. I might try Star Goose as well, because that's Star Goose is a bit of shareware I found in a bin down at my local Blockbusters. Because back then, one of the things they did to make some money was have these lots of brightly coloured floppy disks all sitting in a big box. And you go down there and you buy a game for like £1.50. And one of the games I got was Star Goose in CGA. Wolfenstein 3D on a 386. I used to play that as well. I don't know if I had a legal copy or not, because my father provided that one, and I found out many years later that he had pilfered a copy. Actually, no, he worked in a college, and one of the students there was really annoying him, just trying to play games on his machine all the way. So he confiscated the Elite disc, brought it home, and gave it to his kids. so you didn't want to pee my father off while you're in college. He would have stolen your software. Install. No. I'm being blind right now. Where's the exe? There we go, Prince. You can rely on Prince of Persia to probably not work, because I'm now jinxing it as I say it. The entire emulator just shut down. Oh, I thought Prince of Persia would be one of the more reliable games. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Right, we'll try that again. I don't expect it to run any better. I think my backups have got a bit screwed. They're very, very old. Oh dear, oh dear. I need to source better copies. CD game, CD POP, actually, is there a setup or anything I can run? Let's read the screen properly. Dat, Prince, Dat. No, there's nothing for setup here that I can see. Let's try it once more. What on earth? Oh, I typed in print, not Prince. Dumbass. There we go. Oh, it's working now. I have no idea why it crashed it earlier, but it did. There we go. 60 minutes left to get the princess. Now, the thing that always impressed me about this game was the animation and the motion. It always struck me as absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the more fluid animations you had in any game. I can't remember if there was a secret up here or not. No, probably not. But I think this was kind of the inspiration behind the Tomb Raider games. I'm back working Home Assistants on Raspberry Pi instead of Alexa. Fair enough. It reminds me of Flashback of the NES. Now, I think if I held down Shift, it would hold on to something. Nope, nope, I've just injured myself for no reason. Okay. I don't have a sword! Actually, how did you get a sword in this? I can't remember anything anymore. This is where you hit every random key and then realise you had to find a sword. Oh, I actually don't like... Where's jump on this thing? Oh, it's up, isn't it? Oh, damn it. And I'm dead. There we go. Yay, Prince of Persia. I do not remember how to play it all. Okay, I'm sure there is a key here that just lets you hang on things. Is it control? It's shift. Okay. Shift is what I need to be holding when I'm on the edge of things. Oh. Have I ever mentioned I'm not very good at jumping games? That's right. So you lower yourself down and then you drop, and that stops you from losing health. I don't think I ever built this game as a kid. Sorry, I've been watching rugby. What hardware are you playing these on? This is a 486 SX33. So if you wanted to move carefully forward, you held down shift, that's right. And then you could just hang off edges. I'm starting to remember. Right, so this was then, you had to, oh damn it. Okay, so you can't run and hold down up arrow key. You have to tap the up arrow key while you're running. So these are the controls I'm now relearning. But again, like I say, for the time, the animation and movement of this character was incredibly realistic. You can see they spent quite a lot of time. Yeah, you have to really deliberately hit the up arrow key quite a long time before you actually intend to jump. There we go. Starting to get the hang of it now. This is called Prince of Persia. Oh yeah, I remember that one now. So the down pressure plate drops it, so I've got to jump over that and the other one. I don't have Escape from Wolfenstein now. I found my sword! Yay! Okay, I'm not even going to attempt to jump and get that. I'm sure it's a very nice health potion. I'm also very sure that will kill me. Now, if I remember correctly, I have to go back the way I came and take on that guard. You see the concentration happening now. Falling again, I see. Yes. Yes. I'm actually doing quite well right now, though, which will not last. I think I'm back where I was now. Yeah. No windows, no windows. Don't put up sticky keys. Bad windows. I was tapping shift and Windows just came up. Would you like sticky keys enabled? No. It looks so smooth. Was it actually like the... Yes, this is exactly as the game was. I remember running instead of moving slowly and falling. I'm not going to play this all the way. Well, I think I'll get to the next level now. Oh yeah, there's lots of puzzles in this one, so I think I've just got to activate this. Yay! You beat an opponent with sticky keys. How use door? Pressure plate at the top. So this is the princess we're supposed to be saving, because this is the 80s and everything you had to do was about saving some princess who was stupid enough to get captured. It was very hard work back then. And I only have 53 minutes to get her back. I'd love to know who built this castle, because they didn't do a very good job on the floors. Oh, go away, sticky keys. Go away. Did it again. Ah, and I'm dead. There we go. Sticky keys just killed me. Oh, right. Start. Where's my start button? Start. Settings. Disable blooming sticky keys. Keyboard sticky shortcut keys off. There we go. Anyway, I finally managed to get a game working, so I think that's where I'm going to finish the live there. Having been murdered by my own Windows sticky keys is probably a good place to leave this. So thank you everyone for joining me. I've had about 3 hours, which I intended to be a 1 hour broadcast, of playing around with DOS. So I will be uploading this entire live to my YouTube channel, assuming the recordings work this time. And if it hasn't, I'll have to wait for the one to come down from TikTok and then upload that one. But it will be going up on my YouTube channel at some point. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you all have a fantastic Saturday evening, and maybe you can do a bit of emulation gaming. Apparently any idiot can do it, because I've just demonstrated I can. Thank you for watching. Ta-da.